Well, hello, this is Rochelle and welcome to my channel. Today I'm using an Roetz printable. This is part of her 1st of October releases for My Jesus, who Jesus is and what the word says about him. And I'm journaling in Matthew 3 verse 17, and I'm using Ella's page idea again of these layered hearts. So the printable has these hearts in it that you can then cut out of the pattern paper and layer them so that they have all of this texture or dimension, should I say. Now this Bible is chunky. It is already kind of quite full, so I want to kind of puff them up or pop them up onto 3D fun foam, but I'll see how it goes if I if it's not too much bulk. But what I like about the fun foam is that you can quite easily, it loses some of its thickness when you press it together, and this Bible is heavy enough to be pressed down a lot. So yes, using primary yellow and snow white in the Deco Art Americana range. I love this range of paints, acrylic paints, because it dries matte. It is very opaque, and I did have some of that stamping from the other page to cover up. It didn't quite bleed, but it is heavy shadowing, so I did want to cover that up. It just didn't look the way I wanted it to look behind these hearts. And so using it in a dimensional way, in the sense that I'm not putting down flat color, I'm adding the white to add some highlights, etc, etc. So sticking down my hearts, but then I realized obviously I need kind of the puff, and cutting out that fun foam first. I am going to put it in, I have decided. So then just sticking the fun foam on the back of the smaller heart, and then again on the back of that smaller heart. Now the reason I use fun foam and not foam tape is because I don't have foam tape with me at the moment. I do have small pieces of fun foam, and so they work just as well. I just need to put glue on both sides. And then you see me putting glue on the wrong side of the heart, so I put it onto the pattern paper and then had to cut it again. Yes, it happens to the best of us, so they say. So yes, I kind of cut these hearts rather quick. Should have paid more attention, because I did also get some white space in some of the other ones. So you'll see me cutting and recutting hearts a few times on this video, or tracing and retracing and cutting and whatnot. But yes, so we're talking about Jesus. This is an Roetz printable, part of her series for October, and we're talking about Jesus. And this specific incident in the Bible, or happening in the Bible, is where Matthew records how when Jesus was baptized, the heavens kind of opened, and Father God spoke and said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." And I wanted to kind of put that onto this page. So the background works well, it's bright. Speaking of the heavens opening kind of things, I can imagine the sun shining brightly, and it just being a incredibly peaceful and calm kind of atmosphere as this event happened. And Father God said, "Yes, you're my son. I'm pleased with you." I know my mother heart is, when I'm proud of my kids, it kind of pops out of it, its space in my rib cage, and I can just know that Father God, because of who Jesus was all of his life, was proud of him, and was kind of going, "Good job." Well, that's my take on it. And then obviously his introduction to the world as the beloved Son of the Father, who created heaven and earth. I am using the alphas also from this 1st of October release. They are kind of rainbow alphas, and this printable has beautiful cursive bold word in for my beloved Son. I did so want to use these alpha tiles, so I did go through the process of cutting them out and then using them in their kind of rainbow order on this page to then spell out my beloved son. Thankfully it worked out so that each or the colors would follow on one another. If it didn't, that's the great thing about printables, is that you can reprint and then obviously reuse as long as it is for personal use. So at first my right-brained self wanted to kind of have them straight and perfect, but when I dropped the first letter onto the page and the glue messed, I was like, no, I'm not going to spend all that time and energy trying to correct it. I'm just going to go with the flow and let it be like it looks like sort of Scrabble tiles just fell on the table and kind of scattered. I am outlining it with just a black Faber-Castell Pit Artist pen just to give it that bit of pop against the yellow background, especially those yellow letters, so that they would stand out just a tad bit more. That's again what I like about this Deco Art Americana paint, is because it is matte and not that slick surface. Writing over it becomes much easier, and so Pit Artist pens always work for that. They are great because they are permanent India ink and does the job just wonderfully. So now that my things are outlined, behold my beloved son, with whom I'm well pleased, said God, or God said, and I'm just stamping out my date by giving this stamp, or inking up my stamp with the big brush marker in black, and then putting some of that onto my little acrylic block and adding water and then using it as splatters, which ended up being splats, not just little splatters. And then taking my yellow pen and highlighting my verse. What's great about these pens is they don't bleed through, so I can highlight the verses without worrying that it goes through on the other side. And then that's my finished page for this printable. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope to see you again real soon, and that's it from me. Bye bye.